Trade Genius.
What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Quick update video on Bitcoin. This is going to be recorded about 1 in the morning Eastern time. You guys will see this in a few hours, but we're going to go over the current price action and what we can expect. Last video we talked about quarterly price levels that we are pressing up against that are very important. So the weekly and monthly and quarterly closes now are all going to be really, really important as far as opening up the next range and leaving this range that we've been in for several years now behind. Okay, so price action right now is a big deal. Now what I have up here is a 30-minute chart, has our price fulcrum indicator that we've been showing you guys, also has the indicator that goes with it that shows you the entries, shows you which color changes we prefer to take. So it signals that there's talk about Bitcoin has diverged from the market, and if you look at this blue line represents the S&P 500, and if you look at it, yeah, it does look like that we've had a bit of a divergence here, where the market really started the S&P 500 making lower highs, lower lows, and then dumping, and Bitcoin, as it's dumping, Bitcoin's spiking, making a bit of a blow off top here locally. I don't think that is the top for this move. It's just a local high. But interesting because we've not seen that type of divergence in quite some time with Bitcoin. So the question now remains, is this going to sustain? Are we going to continue to see higher highs and higher lows in Bitcoin while the stock market makes lower highs and lower lows? I don't know if that's 100% going to be the case. I mean, after this divergence happened here, market V bottoms recently rallies back up. And if you look at the recent price action with Bitcoin from, let's say, this divergence, you can see that the moves seem to be somewhat in sync. So we're going to monitor this. I'm not 100% sold that there's a total decoupling with Bitcoin from this stock market yet. I hope that's the case because I really prefer it when Bitcoin is doing its own thing and being non-correlated like that. And that will come back like it has in the past. We just have to monitor that, because when we do our technical analysis, it's nice to know if there's a bearish technical setup on the S&P 500, then we got to look at it as dragging down Bitcoin as long as they're correlated. So that does matter. Looking at this on a 30-minute chart, so these color changes have been just really good alpha. I mean, look at every one of these color changes has just produced a really good move, right? So if you guys are interested in this indicator, you can check out our bundles. We're running specials on that, and these bundles here will have this one here, the fulcrum. That one's got everything and the fulcrum, all the rooms and everything like that. But you can get those 12-month packages with this indicator. Very powerful stuff, and it works on not just crypto, it works on stocks and ETFs and everything. So really like this indicator. It's part of our daily routine in the VIP room, and a lot of good setups with it. Anyway, the one thing I will point out is these counter sell diamonds. Those will pop up when we are going to be. Those are like warning. Think like a black diamond on the ski slopes. When we get these diamonds, that's just giving us a heads up that we could see a decent pullback. I personally like them when we are farther away from a slower moving average. Take your pick. This is a 144 moving average. You can use a 200 because I think ultimately the farther away you are from one of these slower moving averages, the better the move comes from these types of signals that set up. So it's just a warning that if you're getting the signal to get long, be careful, or maybe you want to wait until these resolve, get a little bit deeper pullback, and then buy the next color rotation up. So that's just a heads up there on the 30-minute chart. We have had a good run up. If we look at the other charts, looking at the other longer term charts, this is the weekly over here, the daily here, and the 4-hour. Everything is just in full bull mode right now. So these are actually fun markets because you're looking for a quick dip to buy. The 4-hour has started to base out here. That's not uncommon. What I'm looking for now is a pullback to probably the WMA 20, which is usually what we get first. And you can see that here on this is our Delta chart. One thing I'll show you on the Delta chart, you'll notice that we've come up to about this 370 level. Historically, that 370 level on the futures delta, okay, so that's the delta between futures, the forward futures contract, and the spot price of Bitcoin. And you'll notice that when we get to that level, that's usually where we'll either stop for a bit, take a break, and if we don't and we push higher, we look for a top within a short amount of time as that's really just telling us that conditions are getting overheated. How that looks on the price chart, when we push up here, you'll notice we push up here, we do eke out a few more highs, but you notice the delta starts to wane, and then we get a liquidation break and pull back. Again, price pushes up to that level one more time and pushes over it, and within a few 4-hour bars you get the top for this entire move. So whenever we start pushing up to these levels, I start to take notice of what's going on. As you can see, a lot of times that delta just stops running up to that level. That's a lower level at 146, and we have this upper level here at 370. I just want to know where this is at, because that tells me that the market's getting overheated. You can see it runs up here, right? We get a quick pullback. That's the kind of action we're looking for right now. One of these moves, and then another higher high, and then it pulls back. I think this is what we see right here. I think is probably likely to see again. But that wouldn't end the move up. That's just going to tell us that we probably consolidate for a bit before another move higher. This move in this area is different because of, this was back in August. Now what we're doing is we're getting into that fourth quarter, post-halving fourth quarter, which is always very bullish and usually starts us off into the next bull phase. So what I'd like to see here is, again, this is pressing up, although it has some room yet to press up into this line, this 370 line of the futures delta. I think we could probably see a pullback even further down into this 12,700 zone, give this moving average a tap, make a new high, probably see some consolidation, and then this moving average will eventually move up. This is the WMA 65, usually how this works, and then it'll come back, grab this one more time, make one more high up here, and then consolidate out. At some point, though, I do believe we've got enough price action going on up at these levels that we do push through this and actually start attacking. If you look at the cycle repeat graph, again, we talked about this in the last video, but we are right where we're supposed to be, and this is supposed to be a very bullish push up in the fourth quarter. So if we get that, that's going to be our move that locks out that quarterly level at 13,900. And I would not be at all surprised to see us at 18,151, because if you remember back when we had our 2017 fourth quarter run, we were at under $8,000. This is a weekly chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, we went from under 8K all the way to just about 20K. All right, so just a monumental move. Now, granted, that was the end of the cycle move and the end of a parabolic move, but this is Bitcoin at these levels. When we don't have a lot of price discovery, you can get these kinds of moves. So just understand that can happen. Also, too, we're coming out of the basing, the halving basing. So what we have to also look at is a larger parabolic structure. I know I've covered some smaller parabolic structures, but once we come out of this base, which is what we have here, we need to start looking at, how I look at this is this level here would be the start of the base, and then what we look for is the first consolidation and then another move up. And what that translates to is basically here you have this is a base, this is a base, this is a base, and so on, and then they progressively get smaller in duration, and then you get a blow off move, and you get this parabolic structure like this. So that's what you look for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases if you count starting from here. I think this is where we are at as far as price and coming out of this halving cycle. Okay, so these are the types of structures that you want to look for, and know that when things get overbought, and we're going to have our overbought warning indicators, these are where you're going to see those big, quick 40% type pullbacks. It feels like, Bitcoin's unstable, world's ending kind of moves, because, like you can see some of these last for a week or two or more, and looks like the move's over and it's going to crash, right? There's going to be a lot of crashing headlines going forward over the next year. Just bear that in mind. But this is the kind of structure I think we're going to see again with Bitcoin's cyclical nature and its disinflationary mechanism of the halving. It makes these things a lot more consistent than with other commodities. So just, keep that in mind. This is a unique beast that we have here. All right, so that's basically it for this video. Very important price level. Again, looking for that quick pullback because we're in that full bull mode. and then we'll see probably another new high followed by some consolidation and then another push up for another high, and then we'll evaluate things at that point. But that's probably going to be the outlook here for the next week plus to 2 weeks. All right, so hope you guys had a good week. We will continue to stay on top of things. If you're in the room, we'll be looking for that pullback to get long for a quick swing trade. And then we're going to be talking about bigger levels that we think we can get some pullbacks to and add to that longer term positions. Had a lot of nice ads on this run up. And I think people now are pretty well positioned that have been listening and following along. And this is where you're going to start getting paid. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. Really helps out our channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.